The following program on News Talk 1340 KROC-AM and 96.9 FM, sponsored and paid for by Robin Gwaltney Group, Remax Results. Good morning, Robin.
Hey, nice to see you.
Awesome to see you as well. We've been busy at summertime, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know several of your team members over the past few weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of personality in the room when they're here.
I've enjoyed listening to them. I'm just like, wow, I am so proud. I have some really awesome team members. And what's fun is I think so far you've had Bill and you've had Michael and you've had Crystal.
Correct.
And those are three completely different personalities.
Yes, for sure.
And all three of them just fantastic people, fantastic agents, and probably would all kind of appeal to a different buyer.
And that is kind of the magic of the whole thing about having this team. And I have to point out, too, it came across really strong from all three that this operates as a true team. It's not just a group of people to get put together. They have that spirit with them.
I know. When I was listening to them, I was smiling from ear to ear because I thought, I am so proud and so happy that they all feel the way they do. And it doesn't come as a secret to me because, you know, I've told you before, we have such a cohesive group and just a group of people who really do have each other's backs and will cover for each other on a minute's notice, which is hugely beneficial to our customers because if you're working with me and we're out house hunting and now all of a sudden I'm got to go to a family wedding or I've got to leave town, it's not fair to you to say, oh, you know what, Andy, I'm going to be gone for a few days, but when I get back, we'll pick up where we left off because you know what happens with houses in this market. If I leave town for a couple of days, you're going to surely miss out on the one you want, right?
The way it works, Murphy's Law.
Exactly. So I just say to the team, you know, who wants to cover for me and take my buyers out, and I have, 5 people volunteering, and everybody has the same, so it's really awesome.
Is it something you've done purposely that you've gone and said, okay, I need this personality, and we don't have that in our little group, or is it magical that it just happened?
I think the thing that I really look for is I want honest, good, hardworking people who care about giving service. And that, I've learned, comes in all different sizes, shapes, and colors. You know, it's like we've got young and we've got old and we've got women and we've got men and we've got, you name it. You know, we've got a very diverse group, and I love it because there's somebody on our team for everybody.
And each and every one of them express the joy they feel when it all gets together and the people that they're working with are happy with the outcome.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So it remains a very active and very busy real estate market in Rochester as far as homes
Absolutely.
are concerned.
I brought with me today the July market report since you seem to just love those. I brought one a couple months ago and you said, do this again. I love this.
I love stats.
My little stats guy here. So I brought you the July market report. And yeah, looking at it together, you can see that median sold price has just crept up. April was over March. May was over April, June was higher yet, and now July prices are continuing to rise.
Is that cyclical within the year or is it kind of a ramp?
I don't foresee prices to go down anytime in the near future. It's probably going to level out a little bit, as the selling season quiets. But as I've told you over and over, the selling season doesn't stop, There are only diehard buyers out there in the snowstorms, but there are always people that are getting married or getting divorced or moving here for new jobs.
Or kids are on the way.
Or they need a bigger house, or they need a smaller house. Those people typically time it a little better, like, okay, we're going to downsize, let's wait till spring. But, there's houses being sold all the months of the year. But, I feel like eventually it's going to have to level out, I hope. Otherwise, no one's going to be able to afford houses. But I don't see it going the other direction anytime soon.
So the other aspect of this, it's the price continues to slide upward, and the amount of time that a home is on the market continues to, it seems to shorten every time I look at one of these reports.
Yep, it goes down, down, down. And that has definitely got something to do with the time of the year, this height of the selling season. Easy for families with kids to move when the kids are out of school and, People
sure.
people who are downsizing, they have some say in when they do it, so they choose summer just for the, packing and moving part of it.
So there's kind of an annual cycle to who might be selling at certain times of the year. I mean, I know we're
Sure.
we're a little bit twisted because we have that annual residency
Influx,
that comes in the February March time frame. But
right.
so this is the time of the year when
Lots of weddings happen. So, lots and lots of new married couples in the summer. I just actually closed this past week for 2 young couples, one just getting married and one who just got married. So it's like, okay, now we're married. So instead of him moving into my place or me moving into her place, maybe they've been together but renting, but they just decide it's time to go into that joint venture.
a life change.
Yeah,
triggers.
Exciting stuff. It's fun. It's fun to get
And
these.
it's funny you mention that, too, because it seems to be a lot of the times these transactions take place when exciting and happy things are happening in a person's life that add to the excitement of new digs.
Yeah, it's not always that way.
No, but-
Unfortunately, I get calls from friends who, are getting a divorce, and now it's time to find out what the value of the property
sure.
is, and that's not fun. I'm glad I can be there for them and help them, but it's not exciting. It's not fun.
That's the service issue there, too, yeah.
I'm-
At your service, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice when it's not an easy phone call to make when you're going through tough times. So it's nice when people have a relationship with an agent that they feel comfortable to call and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. We need you to come over and tell us what the house is worth." And it's actually a very nice compliment, to be called upon in a time like that.
Time of need, yeah. Well, looking at the stats some more, one of the numbers I always like to look at is at any given time, how many homes are actually for play? How many are in the market that are available for people pursuing a home?
Sure.
Is that shrinking or growing?
Well, let's look at it. As of right now, in the last 6 months, 1,057 houses have closed. Okay. As of right now, 270 are pending, which means they've already got an offer accepted, and they've had their inspection contingencies or what other contingencies they have been removed. So now they're just waiting on closing day. Okay. So that's technically sold or under contract,
Sure.
but not
it's
closed.
most likely going to go all the way through.
But not closed. And then 406 active. So if you want to go out there and buy a house right now in our market, you have 406 to choose from.
Is there
It's not a
a
lot.
lot more in one price range versus another price range?
Oh, let's look. Typically, it's going to be kind of all right. So it looks like the majority of the ones that are available are between 200 and 299. There's 109 houses in that price range.
And that matches up with our median sales price now.
And between 300 and 400, there's 101. So when you get up high, between 800 and a million, there's 9. Over a million, there are 3. And between 100 and 200, there's 42, which isn't really that bad. I mean, that's kind of quite a few. Some months there's 3.
3, really?
Yeah. And under 99,000, there's 1. And by the time we get done with this show, that one's probably been sold. Just saying.
And that 100 to 199, that's where you see a lot of it really move fast as well, I imagine.
It does, yeah. And that's why I'm actually surprised that there are 42. But
Vacations. We're all on vacation this month, it seems like.
Maybe.
Well, we're with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group, Remax Results, and we're talking about the local real estate market, her team. And we'll be back, and we'll talk some more with Robin. By the way, you can always catch previous programs. Go to KROCnews.com, click on the trending bar right where it says local podcasts, and you'll find the shows where we just spoke briefly about the members of her team who've been visiting the KROC-AM 96.9 studios over the past few weeks. Back in just a moment on News Talk 1340, KROC-AM and 96.9 FM. Welcome back. I'm Andy Brownell, News Talk 1340, KROC-AM and 96.9 FM with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group, Remax results, our Saturday morning chat about the local real estate market. And we've been looking over all these stats about which price range houses are available and moving, and which type of seller is selling at this time of the year compared to different times of the year. And what that tells me, Robin, is knowing the market, for one thing, is extremely important. And I imagine that experience is tied in with that as well, because you're used to seeing what trends there are and different cycles that go through the marketplace. And I just imagine the experience is key to that.
I think so. And I think it's not just experience in terms of years, because clearly I have 20 years in real estate, but not everybody on my team does. But what they do have is they attend a lot of classes, they get a lot of training, they're very knowledgeable. And I love that we have kind of a mentorship set up on our team where the more experienced agents take the less experienced agents under their wing and really teach them. Because I feel like when people are buying or selling a home, yes, this is about your home, but this is a humongous financial endeavor, okay? So we don't typically invest a lot of money with somebody that has no clue what's going on, right? And unfortunately, real estate is no different than any other industry. There are some people that say, oh, wow, I just need 90 hours of class and I can become a realtor and I've got this. And, we all start out as new agents, but it's how you advance from the time you're new on up that matters. And so if you get in and pretend like you know everything, I will promise you that is a disaster in the making. Okay? So when you're new, if you don't know the proper way to handle a situation, it's really awesome when people go to the broker in their office or a more experienced agent in their office and find out. And when that happens, things go just fine and people gain the experience and gain the knowledge that they need. But when it doesn't happen, I feel so bad for those consumers that are working with those uneducated and untrained agents, because if you ever want to think for 1 minute that an agent is an agent is an agent, or should I say a realtor is a realtor is a realtor, no, that is clearly not the truth. It's like any other profession. There are some that are actually very, very good at what they do and some that do an okay job.
Can you give me an example maybe of one of these types of situations that let's say a more green realtor might run into that an experienced realtor would handle relatively easily?
Well, let me just talk about like all the rain we've had lately.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So recently, on one of our listings, a very new and inexperienced agent sold the property for us, which was great. The transaction went very smoothly. Well, that agent decided that they were going to do the final walkthrough 3 days prior to closing, because that was what was convenient for the agent, because the agent was going to be going out of town. And they did the walkthrough and everything was just lovely. And then they never returned to the house before the closing. And then they went to sign the papers. They got the key. And then they got to the house. And guess what? There was water in the basement.
Oh, goodness.
And I will promise you that any new agent on my team, that would have never, ever, ever happened, because I've told them, if you want to do a walkthrough a couple of days in advance, like you're maybe worried that the people aren't going to have everything out or they're running behind schedule, if you want to do your walkthrough early, fine, go do your walkthrough, but then you will always go back and do a walkthrough right before the closing, because that's the way the house is supposed to be at the time they buy it, and that's when you can visually go and check it out, right? So that's just something you learn either with time and experience or
the hard way.
Or from a mentor, someone who's guided you and told you. So I felt just absolutely terrible for that agent, because of course their buyer was just furious. Yeah. And their buyer called me and said, we should have never used her. I said, no, you know what? I'm not going to throw any agent under the bus, and she did a great job, and I'm sorry that this happened, but unfortunately. It really was their problem.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, the sellers were completely unaware. They've left the state, and they had no idea.
Yeah, when you have this kind of water, especially,
Yeah.
it's unprecedented.
Well, yeah, they owned the house for 23 years and had never had water one time, and so it was a shock to them as well.
We in our little neighborhood, we have homes that never had water in the sump basket ever, 30 years, and this year there's water showing up in the sump basket.
Well, I think I just saw this. Was it this morning or yesterday morning on the news that it's been the 12 consecutive wettest months on record.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think we've had double the amount of rain that we would in an average.
It's good for the flowers. My flowers look fantastic. But I don't know. I like to look at the positive and everything. But yeah, I mean, water it's difficult. It's a really stressful situation. And anybody who's ever owned a home that's had water will attest to the fact that it is just not fun.
No, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, it could be costly as well.
Yeah.
Especially the cleanup part of it. That's for sure.
Yes, exactly.
So I imagine in your team with dozens, literally, of team members, the folks who are coming into this profession have solid mentors other than yourself.
Exactly. Yes, there's a lot of very good, solid mentors on our team, and always all willing to help the new agents, which is super. It's really good.
Is it a matter of simply, hey?
Yep, exactly. That easy.
This is happening. I have no idea how to deal with this.
Yeah, they just call each other, text each other, or send out a group text like, who can help me with this? And yeah, it's really awesome.
And they come running.
They basically do, honestly. Honestly, they do. You know what else I loved, Andy? I loved when I listened to the team members who've been in here thus far talking about how important our admin staff is at the Gwaltney Group. And oh my gosh, that is the understatement of the year, because I refer to it a lot of times as I'll go out and list the houses or go out and show houses and sell a house, and then I just hand it over to them, and they make sure that the inspection gets, if it's a buyer, that the inspection gets scheduled, that the lender has what they need, that everything goes to closing. They follow up and make sure that the appraisal came in. There's just somebody always touching that file. And like for a seller, I've got somebody making sure that the pictures have been ordered, that the pre-inspection has been done if there is going to be one, that all the disclosures have been turned in, everything's online. So we just are so well oiled, everything goes off without a glitch, and it's because of a lot of that hard work from behind the scenes. And I think it was Bill who said that our admin makes us look like rock stars, and it's so true, but they're just really efficient and really effective, and that is so beneficial to our clients. Again,
you have people, as they say.
Yeah, we have people. We have people.
Well, I think that's in any organization, is that support staff that never gets the credit that they deserve, but make everything possible for the people who are on the front lines.
Absolutely correct. Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about the team, the Gwaltney Group team, with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group Remax Results after this quick break on News Talk 1340, KROC-AM and 96.9 FM. Welcome back. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney. Gwaltney Group Remax Results. Just moments ago, we were talking about the team that you have, and the team more than the dozens of realtors, but also this staff, the machine that makes things happen.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, it processes all the paperwork and makes the contacts possible. And I imagine that that's a huge advantage to your team to have that, and allows you to probably get in a few more clients than a lot of other folks might have been able to handle, because they don't have to do all that prep work.
Absolutely. I think I've talked to you. Well, I know I've talked to you about this before, that the Gwaltney Group is the number one team, not only because we're the largest. So when I say number one, what does that mean? It means we simply sold more houses and continue to sell more houses than any other real estate teams or real estate agents in all of southern Minnesota.
That's amazing.
So the reason we can be so productive is clearly because of that staff that we have and the systems that we have in place. And I also really accredit the fact that we work for such a strong brand. We work for Remax, and Remax is not only very well-known and successful here in our market, but it's a very well-known and successful brand throughout not just the country, but throughout the world. And we gain so much from that because we network with Remax agents across the states. And when someone has a client moving to Rochester to work at Mayo Clinic, they'll look and see who are the Remax agents there, who are the top producing Remax agents there, and we get phone calls, right? And they say, hey, I have a client that I've been working with for the last 15 years, and now they're leaving Texas and coming to Minnesota. Could you please help them? So it's actually really powerful to have such a great brand.
Kind of seamless.
Exactly. And here in Rochester, I brought you some stats. I wanted you to see those.
More stats.
I know. You know, you do realize I am trying to secretly groom you, right? I mean, Randy Brock used to do the weather. Now he sells real estate. Robin used to do the news. Now she sells real estate. So, you know, I'm just saying.
Is that how it works?
You might be next, Andy. You might be next.
Send us out to pasture off the airwaves. We go do this.
I better be careful. Your radio station's going to cancel my spot. Anyway, it's interesting, I think, to look at, this is the stats for January 1 of 2018 through December 31st of 2018.
Last year's total numbers.
So last year's total numbers. So this is nothing that I am, you know, sitting in here and pumping up Remax. These are stats. This comes right from our MLS. So if you look at these numbers, in 2018, Remax was accountable for 35.64% of the transactions.
Well over a third.
Well over a third. So that means every single time out of every 3 transactions in real estate, there was a Remax agent involved. And that's not just by chance, okay? That's the power of our brand and all the tools and the training and everything that we get with that brand. In second place, we have I guess I shouldn't really name the other companies. It's probably not. It's not. I mean, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, right?
It's not necessary.
But the next company is at 20%. So you know we're 1.5 times that, right? And then it drops all the way down to 9.3%. And then down to 4.1, and then 3 and then 2.7.
Drops off fast.
So yeah, so there are basically 2 companies that account for 55% of the transactions. So the rest of them they're here and they do some deals, and there's agents that make a living, but they're certainly not the companies that are turning heads when it comes to the actual production.
Oh, we could probably bring this up in another program, but you mentioned the tools and the training that are tied in with the Remax brand. Can you give an example of the training, maybe?
Well, sure. So because we actually work for Remax Results. So Remax is a franchise, right? And there's franchisees that own the different companies, right? We've talked about this. And Remax Results is owned by John Colopy out of the Twin Cities. And he actually has, 1,500 agents now. I can't even really keep track, but I think he has 20 plus offices. I just know that he has a lot. So he has a full staff. He actually has a full-time trainer on staff who brings in all of the classes that we could possibly ever want and all of the latest technology and, CRMs and, contact management systems and things that they then pass on to us at no cost because they buy it in bulk to give us the upper hand so that we can outshine our competition. And clearly it's working.
And it's working. Wow. Okay. Our time is short. Not that short, but...
Don't say that. That doesn't sound good. Sounds like our time here on Earth is coming to an end.
I don't want to run out of time is what I'm trying to say.
Got
because
it.
we haven't talked about what's going to be happening this coming Thursday.
Yes.
We bragged it up last month and Mother Nature got in the way.
Doggone it.
But it's going to be, I saw the long-range forecast this week.
It's supposed to be gorgeous for Thursday, so let's hope it sticks to it because Thursday, July 25th, Thursday's downtown, Gwaltney Group has partnered up with the Downtown Alliance, and we are sponsoring 3rd Street. So that means we're going to have some fun stuff going on down on 3rd Street for all of our Gwaltney Group friends and clients and people we know, family, whatever. Small town, we know everybody,
You're
right?
Invited.
You're absolutely invited. Anyway, we have tables and chairs that'll give you good seats for the Prince tribute concert that's going on the stage. And we've got a big gaming semi-trailer thing where people can go inside and play video games.
I heard so much about this. I have to see this.
You better come, yes, because seriously, I think it's going to be a really fun time. We're going to have the beanbag toss and some other yard games going on. We've got some fun giveaways.
What's the other one? Dance
Yeah,
Revolution?
Dance Revolution.
That's where you stand on the pads and the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So there's lots of fun stuff. And so, we're calling it Fun and Games with the Gwaltney Group at Thursdays downtown. We're super excited to be sponsoring a little extra fun for everybody that comes out. It's such a wonderful community event. It really brings everybody out of their house.
And it's due. We're due to have a really nice day for this.
Yes, we are.
So that's this coming Thursday at I call it the main stage.
Yeah.
Which is right by 3rd Street there.
Yeah,
so
1st and 3rd.
The prime location for the food and everything else is right next to where you're going to be doing
tables and chairs
this.
to sit down and actually come and eat your food.
Goodness.
How nice is that?
Amenities.
Yeah, and I especially ordered some purple Gwaltney Group Coulis cups. All of our stuff is always red and blue, like Remax theme, but I thought, I got to tie it in with the Prince tribute concert. So we'll have some fun giveaways.
I always think Vikings when you say purple.
Well, then you can keep it for the Viking season.
All right, Robin, thank you so much. And, of course, that's this Thursday. Thursdays downtown on 3rd Street. Stop by and say hello to the gang. Meet some of the members of this team. We'll meet more of them.
In the weeks to come.
Week. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. And, of course, you can catch this program anytime, including the past episodes, at KROCnews.com under local podcasts. You're listening to Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group. Remax Results. I'm Andy Brownell with News Talk 1340, KROC-AM and 96.9 FM.